Welcome to Compulite's Vector Console. This tutorial, Introduction to Vector, takes you through Vector's basic patching, programming, and playback functions. You also get a peek at Vector's more advanced features. Vector has two operation modes and two programming syntaxes. The operation mode, syntax, and other default behaviors are configured in the System Settings dialog box. Click Tools, choose Settings. We will be working in tracking mode and using Enter syntax. Click OK. A new show file clears all data, including the patch, show settings, cues, and other show objects. Tap the File menu and choose New Show. You are prompted to save the current show. Tap Yes to save, tap No to ignore. This bar shows the command's progress. The display refreshes and we are ready to start programming a new show. Determining the type and number of fixtures used in the show and patching these fixtures is done in the Patch Manager. Click Tools. Choose Patch Manager. The Patch Manager opens. We will now configure Vector for 8 channel fixtures and patch them. Click on the Create and Patch icon. The Create and Patch Fixtures dialog box opens. This dialog box has 5 fields: device, in this case channel, number of fixtures to create. Start number is the first fixture number for these devices. The short name of the device is automatically entered in the name field. The set field shows which set the device belongs to. Enter 8 in the number of fixtures to create field. Click Next for the next wizard screen where you set the fixture's DMX addresses. There are 3 fields here: port, address, and interval. We will use the default entries. Click Finish. The fixtures and their patch information is displayed. Now on to patching 6 spots. Click the Create and Patch icon. The first task is importing the device profiles for the spots used in your show. Click Import Device. The Open Device dialog box is displayed. Click on VL3000 spot. The device is added under the device node. It's automatically selected in the dialog box's device type field. Click in the Create Number of Fixtures field. Enter 6 for 6 fixtures. The start number defaults to 1. Click Next for the next wizard screen, patching the 6 fixtures to DMX addresses. Navigate to the port field and enter 2, the DMX port for these fixtures. Use the default DMX start address 1. Vector automatically calculates the length of DMX addresses, the interval, used by each spot. Click Finish. The fixtures and their DMX addresses are displayed. Now we can return to the editor. Click the Exit icon. You are prompted to save the patch. Click Yes. The patch is saved and the Patch Manager closes. The fixtures are shown in the editor's live displays. You can, of course, patch more than one DMX address to a fixture number. This can be done in the Patch Manager or in the editor. Let's see how to soft patch in the editor. We'll patch port 1, DMX addresses 20 to 26 to channel 1. We'll want to view the patch on port 1. To display port 1, let's add a tab to one of the display panes. Activate a pane by clicking on it. Open the window menu. Choose Add Tab. This tab will be used to display port 1. Open the workspace tree. Expand the patch node and choose port 1. The port 1 patch is displayed. Close the workspace. Press Dim. Select DMX addresses 20 through 26 on the keypad. Press Channel and 1. Press Enter to store. You can view the result on the port 1 display. Vector's display layout capabilities allow you to set up the touchscreen displays for maximum programming speed. Vector comes supplied with basic layouts. We will take a quick tour of the layout used in this tutorial. The top of the window contains the menu bar, display navigation icons, the workspace icon, the soft key toggle, and the window lock. This layout is divided into 5 panes. Some of the panes contain multiple tabs. Panes can be resized by dragging their edges. The active pane has an orange border. The tab panes contain soft keys and playback displays. Soft keys are used to store and select show objects. This pane's tabs are position libraries, color libraries, image, effect, and beam libraries. This pane's tabs are groups, snaps, macros, cue lists, and the crossfader playback display. The live spot shows spots, their parameters, and current parameter levels. Underneath this pane is the live channel display. Channels and their dimmer levels appear here. This pane shows playback devices 1 through 10. The editor toolbar is context sensitive. The buttons change according to the current editing function. When fixtures are selected, the names of the parameters controlled by the wheels are displayed here. The command line is located at the bottom of the screen. The active command sequence appears here. Also shown is the real-time status, the system clock, the general master level. The indications bar shows system status information, the operation mode and programming syntax, MIDI and VC status, the active snap, active editor, the cue list and cue on the master playback. We recommend keeping the display locked to avoid accidentally moving or resizing display elements. During this session, you will see how to use these displays. The Vector Intermediate tutorial shows you how to customize the displays. Libraries are a database of frequently used parameter levels. Updating a library globally updates the values and cues that are derived from that library. Vector can automatically generate color, intensity, and image libraries. In this section, we will use the automatic library generation feature to program color libraries and intensity libraries for VL3000 spot. Groups are collections of frequently used fixture selections. We will also generate groups for channels and spots. Click on the Tools menu. Choose Generate Groups and Libraries. Expand Generate All. Select Color. Observe that even though color is checked, it must also be highlighted. We will use the Start From and Align defaults. Select Intensity to generate intensity libraries. Enter 10 in the % step field. The values in the intensity libraries will increment by 10%. Intensity library 1 will be 10%, library 2, 20%, and so on. Select Groups. Clicking OK generates libraries and groups according to the information you have entered in this dialog box. View the results on the soft keys. Now, we will see how to select fixtures and set parameter levels. We'll start by selecting some channels and setting their dimmers to 70%. Press Channel. Press 1. Selecting the first channel, then press the arrow, and 4, the last channel in a range selection. Press plus and 6, and plus and 8. Plus functions as an AND key. Press at to set dimmer levels. Press 7 and 0 to set dimmer levels to 70%. Press Enter. The dimmer output is now visible on stage. Now we'll select the even-numbered spots and set parameter levels for pan and tilt, magenta, and yellow. You will also see how to clear the editor. To select the even-numbered spots, use the automatically generated Even Spots group that appears on the Group tab soft keys. Tap Soft Key 13. Press Full to turn the dimmers to 100%. Use the trackball or the wheels to set the positions. The X and Y buttons next to the trackball lock the pan or tilt to prevent moving one axis while setting the other. Press Color to switch to the color wheel bank. Use the wheel labeled magenta to set a level for magenta. Press the parameter key to select the yellow parameter. Press At and enter 25 on the keypad, setting the level for yellow at 25%. Press Enter. The parameter output is now visible on stage. Pressing Reset clears the editor. You can also select fixtures by clicking on them in the live displays. To enable interactive fixture selection, activate the live channel or spot display. Open the View menu. Choose Interactive Fixture Selection. Now you can select fixtures directly on the display by clicking on a fixture, or select a range of fixtures by clicking on the first fixture and dragging the pointer over the range. You can set a command line default so Vector recognizes the first number entered as belonging to the default object. For example, if channel is the command line default, to select a channel, you only have to enter a number. The command line default can be spot, cue list, channel, group, cue, or dimmer. A double hit on spot changes the command line numerical default to spot. You can also program specific libraries and groups. To program a position library with spots 1 and 2 and 5 and 6, select spot 1, turn on the dimmer, and set its position. Select spot 2, turn on the dimmer, and set its position. Repeat the procedure for spots 5 and 6. Press Store and the position library number on the soft keys, in this case 1. Press Text and type a name for this library. For example, Downstage Center. Tap OK to store the text tag for position library 1. Notice that this position library soft key has an F in the upper right corner. F means fixture library, where a value is set for each fixture in the library. This type of library can be applied only to the specific fixtures programmed in the library. Position libraries can obviously be only fixture specific. The color libraries that were automatically generated have a D in the upper right corner. D stands for Device Library. This type of library can be applied to any fixtures of the same device type. To program a group with spots 3 and 4, for example, select spots 3 and 4. Press Store. Tap a group number, let's use 16. Press Text and tap the name for this group. Let's call it Center. Tap OK to store the text tag for group 16. Cues are organized in cue lists. Now we will program a few cues in cue list 1 directly on the master playback device. The AB crossfader or any other fader can be designated as the master playback. The master playback is shown in the playback displays on a green field. The master playback has an LCD display on the console panel. We will use the AB crossfader as the master playback. It is actually the default master playback. Click 1 and the arrow key in 6 to select channels 1 through 6. Click at 55 to set the dimmer level to 55%. Press Enter. The output is now visible on stage. Click Store. Click Cue. Then click Select for AB. As there are no cue lists yet, cue list 1, the first available cue list number, is automatically stored and the fixtures in the editor are stored as Q1 in cue list 1. The editor is cleared. The 2-second default cue time is set for this cue. On to the next cue. Press Channel and dot to reselect the last channel selection. Click 0 to take out channels dimmers. Click on cells 1, 2, 5, and 6 to select these spots. Use the wheel labeled dimmer to set the dimmer intensity level. Click on Position Library 1, the library we just stored, to set the spot's positions. Store Plus stores the editor as Q2 in QList 1. The Q is loaded to AB and output. Now for Q3. Click Spot and dot to reselect the last spot selection. Click Color. Use the wheel labeled cyan to set the level for this parameter. Pressing Store Plus stores the editor as Q3 in QList 1. The Q is output from the master playback. Select spots 3 and 4. Turn on the dimmers and set their positions. Let's save this as Position Library 2. Click Store and the soft key 2 on the Position Library tab. And give this a text tag. Click Group 11 to select all the spots. Click Color to select the color parameters. Click Home to return all the color parameters to their home values. Click the Color Library tab to show the color libraries. Select Color Library 19, Rose. Cyan, magenta, and yellow values are set to create the selected color. Click Store. Click Q. Enter 10 on the keypad. Click Enter. The editor is stored as Q10 in QList 1. All cues receive the 2-second default cue time. Now we'll look at how to change fade times. We'll change the fade times for Q3 in QList 1. We'll change time in to 6 seconds and delay in to 2 seconds. Select QList 1, select Q3. Press Time. The editor toolbar is now in time mode. Notice that time in is selected. Click 6 on the keypad for fade in time. Click Delay in. Click 2 on the keypad for the delay in time. Click Enter to store the new cue times. You can add text tags to all show objects. To add a text tag to QList 1, Q3, select QList 1, select Q3, click Text. The text field opens. Type your text in the text field. We'll use drum roll. Click OK. An easy way to select colors in gobos is to use the pickers. Click Spot and dot to reselect all the spots. Click Color to switch to the color wheel bank. Double-click on cyan, magenta, or yellow to open the color picker. Click on the arrow to open the drop-down list and choose Lee. Click on Lee 100. Click Close to exit the color picker. Click Image to access the image bank parameters. Click the left key for the second wheel layer. Double-click Rotating Gobo 3, which opens the Gobo picker. Click Gobo 5, Circle of Ovals. Click Close. You can give unique fade times to parameters. Here we'll set the delay time of 4 seconds for the gobo. Click Time. Notice that the time setting is applied to Rotating Gobo 3, the selected parameter. Click Delay In and 4. Click Store Plus to store this as the next cue, Q11. Vector offers an array of pre-programmed effects that can be quickly modified to suit your show. Select Group 11 All Spots. Click Home twice to return all parameters to their home values. Now we'll see how to use the pre-built effects. Click Effect. The Effect Editor opens to the Pre-built tab. Choose Circle. The circle effect is applied by default to the pan and tilt. You can, of course, select a different parameter. To adjust the size of the effect, turn the size wheel or enter a value using the keypad. All the spots are moving together. To offset or spread the effect, go to the Basic tab, click Wave. This spreads the effect evenly over the number of spots. Click Close. Click Store Plus to store this as the next cue, Q12. We have already stored a number of cues to cue list 1. The master playback device, in this case the AB crossfader, is now at the last cue in cue list 1. To view the cue sheet for the cue list running on the master playback, click on the AB tab. Click on the cue sheet tab located at the top of this pane to see the cue playback details, such as fade times and text. You can also display the pane header, which shows the cue list number loaded on the AB crossfader. To fade to Q1, click Go. Click Go again to fade to Q2. Click Back to return to Q1. To fade to Q10, skipping the intermediate cues, click Q and 10 on the keypad. Click Go To. The fade to Q10 takes place in default go-to time, usually 1 second. This can be changed in the System Settings dialog box. Select Q1 and press Go To return to Q1. To fade from Q1 to Q3 and Q3's fade time, click Q and 3 on the keypad. Click Go. The fade to Q3 takes place in the stored cue time. You can see the fade's progress on the master playback cue sheet. Click Back to return to Q2. Now we will see how to interrupt a fade in progress and immediately begin a fade to the next cue. Press Go and then press Go again before the fade to Q3 is complete. You can see that the fade to Q3 is interrupted and an immediate fade to Q10, the next cue, begins. Continue clicking Go to cycle through all the cues. Let's quickly make another cue list and take a look at chases. First, let's release the cue list running on AB to clear the stage. Press Playback Release and select for AB. Since we'll be storing this cue list to Playback Fader 10, we'll need the playback wing. Expose the application button on the editor panel and choose Open Wing. Bring up the fader so we can see the output. Click Cue List, click 2 on the keypad and select for Playback 10. Now Cue List 2 is on Playback 10. Select Channel 1 and click Full. Click Store and select for Playback 10. Select Channel 1 and click 0. Set Channel 2 to Full. Click Store, then select for Playback 10. The editor is stored as Q2. Bring Channel 2 to 0. Set Channel 3 to Full. Click Store, and then select for Playback 10. The editor is stored as Q3. We now have 3 cues in Cue List 2 on Playback Fader 10. Notice that the playback's LED is green, indicating that a cue list is loaded. To make this cue list a chase, click Setup, click Select for Playback 10. The Playback Properties dialog box opens. Open the combo box under Cue List mode. Choose Chaser. Notice that the playback's LED is now red, indicating that a chase is loaded. Click Store. This cue list will now always run as a chase. To run the chase, press this key, which is Playback 10's Go key. The playback fader can also function as a rate fader. Press Rate and use the fader to control the chase rate. To release the chase, press Playback Release and select for Playback 10, and we can close the wing. Stuck? It's easy to get help. Click on Help in the menu bar, expand the Enter Syntax node, and choose a topic. To save your show, open the File menu, choose Save, type a file name in the name field, click Save. Remember, save often. We hope you have found the Introduction to Vector training film informative and useful. Till next time, light on!